Okay, I think we have a very good understanding of virtualization at this point. Now let's take a look at some of the benefits that a virtualization offer. So this way you will have a complete picture of why we should use virtualization, especially when someone asks you, tell me why would you use a virtualization or a physical system or what are the advantages? That's why it is very important for you to understand each and every benefits that virtualization has to offer. I'm going to list a few of them, but please remember the list that I am sharing with you is not an exact list. Everyone can reap the benefits of virtualization based on their requirement. So, the list that I have is, of course, based on my experience and based on the industry experience as they have listed. Number one is cost. Yes, of course. Why is a cost? Number one benefit for virtualization is because, of course, when you could run multiple operating system on one physical machine, then it's gonna save you cost to buy other physical machines, right? So before, or it used to be four physical machines to every operating system. Now you could have one physical machine for four operating system. So you're saving a lot of money on the hardware cost. Then the real estate. When I say real estate is if you had to rack and stack and manage four servers, now you're only racking and stacking only one servers. So a lot less physical maintenance of a machine and a lot less space that's going to be used in your data center. Electricity. Of course, these machines, I don't know if you ever been to a data center before. These machines makes up a lot of noise, takes up a lot of power, they have a lot of fan noise, and it takes a lot of electricity. When you're going to have a lesser hardware, it means less electricity, and of course, it goes down back to the cost piece. Then the ease of management. When you have 10 servers to manage as compared to only one server to manage, it's a lot easier to manage just one server. Redundancy, I like that a lot. Redundancy meaning when you have multiple virtual machines running on one physical machine or multiple physical machine or multiple uh, hypervisors, which we'll talk about later, of course, then if a virtual machine is running on hypervisor A and that hypervisor A goes down, it can migrate to the other hypervisor. So that's called redundancy. Faster deployment of machines. So when you need to build a machine or in the virtualization world it's called a virtual machine, then it's simply a few clicks away. You don't really have to go through the entire process of putting the CD in and go through the command prompt and do the installation from scratch. And nowadays you could deploy a virtual machine just through the template, which is a lot easier, and we'll cover that later. Resources availability. So resource availability meaning, let's say if your machine, the virtual machine that you have spun up, that has only 2 gig of RAM. 2 months from now, you realize you need another 2 gig. Then you really don't have to open up that physical box to add that memory DIMM. You could simply add that on the virtualization layer. And it is very simple and very fast. Better testing and performance. If you are testing your code, if you are upgrading your machine, if you are doing the patch management, you could always take a snapshot of your machine and revert back to it. Again, that snapshot is something, a feature that is part of the virtualization technology. We'll talk about that later. Licensing cost as well, whereas you have to pay for 10 different operating system. For example, if you have 10 Microsoft servers, you have to pay each one of them. But if you run 10 of those servers on a virtualization technology, those vendors, those operating system vendors will give you a lot of benefits on the licensing cost. So these are the few benefits that I have listed. Again, this list is not the list that you say, okay, this is the only list. You might have more based on your own experience, based on the industry standards, but this is the main list or primary list that I have seen that everybody take advantages of. Now, by looking at these lists or benefits of this virtualization, you could tell right away, yes, you want the virtualization, and you know for sure the virtualization gives a huge advantage over physical layout of your infrastructure.